You guys over here might not be able to see.
Oh yeah, I was gonna put it down.
Okay.
And these are shells.
All right.
You need to sit down.
If you guys want to sit on the grass.
If you guys want to sit on the grass, go ahead.
I'm gonna pass around my stuff. All right.
Alright, so you have the fries on. You have
Morgan, you need to record something.
All right, now listen. I have one rule. Yes. Thank you for noticing. That's a necklace I made out of a shell. Yep. I have a lot of fun. Now listen, I'm going to let everybody touch things, but I'm going to ask you not to stick your hands in here, okay? Before I will let you touch things, okay? I'm just going to, instead of doing my regular lecture, I'm just going to, you guys seem fascinated with everything.
Joshua, can you pay attention, please?
You know what this is?
A crab tail?
It's a tail.
It's a tail from a stingray? A stingray?
No, you're very smart. It's a tail to a grown-up one of these. We saw these, right, when we were seining?
Yeah.
just imagine.
These are called, no, this is called a horseshoe crab. Okay? Now, go ahead, take a picture.
Video?
Now, crabs, you know how crabs molt? Because it's kind of got a horseshoe crab shape. Now, horseshoe crabs look scary, and they can get quite big, and they get like dark brown and huge, but they're utterly harmless. This little thing is their tail. Looks like a weapon, right? But it's not. It's called a telson, and it only is their rudder to steer or to flip them over. They get upside down a lot like that, and they're stuck. So they use that tail to flip themselves back over. Now this is a tiny little baby, and it's not dead. It's just, every time it grows, it's got to shed the shell and grow a new one.
Oh, what is that? When you shake it, yeah, what is that sound?
It's just a little sand in there. Now I'm going to pass this around, and you guys can see. This is actually, it's a female. The males have special claws in the front that looks like little boxing gloves, and that helps them cling on to the female.
Like that.
Yep, just like that. And that's how you can tell. And generally, female horseshoe crabs are much bigger than the males. So sometimes you can tell just looking that the big one is a girl. But this one, I'll pass it around. You can see it's got 8 legs. Inside here is its mouth. And these are dry now, but you can see they almost look like pages. That's its gills. It's called their book gills.
Is it in the water?
What?
Is it in the water?
They live in the water.
Is that
Swim around like this. Their only defense is very passive. This looks scary, but it doesn't do anything.
Can I film that? How do you get upside down, dude?
They just, the waves knock them over. You can look at that and pass it around. I have another one.
Is it alive?
It is not alive. Now, horseshoe crabs have a very special place in my heart because they're very important. As every living thing on this planet has a very important place in nature.
Like mosquitoes.
Even mosquitoes, which we all hate, right? Mm-hmm. But mosquitoes are an incredibly important food source for bats and birds. And everything, no matter what, no matter how humble, always remember, in nature, everything has a place and a reason. Just like you do. Just like every single one of you is important and special. Every one of you. It's just like in nature. No matter what, even you're feeling lost or sad, always remember, I have a special place. I know it. I just don't know what it is yet. Yes.
Where's the whale ear?
I'm going to show you the whale ear last. Here, you guys can pass that around. Now, do you have the time, sweetie? I don't know if you guys...
12:50.
12:50? Alrighty. I'm just going to talk for about 10 more minutes, and then you guys have an hour, and maybe you want to do a shell collecting, a little walk on the beach. It's up to you guys.
Time on the beach.
That is up to you. That's up to the teachers.
I want to go in the house.
Okay, but I want to educate you little scientists. You did very well this morning. When you're next going on the beach, I want you guys to know what you're looking at, okay?
What's that sound? That little one is a male.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. I have plenty of specimens. Sometimes there's an accident. I know it was not done on purpose. Don't worry.
I do not know.
All right.
I hear different.
Now try not to stick your hands in here, as fascinating as it looks.
Whoa. Well, I'll take a picture of that. I have one at home. Look at later chance.
Do you everybody hear what Mr. Will said? It is a
Surf clam.
That's right.
Is it for a hermit crab?
No, it's for the organism inside is a clam. Now, this kind of clam is only found on the ocean side. And that's why it's big and hard. Because it tumbles around and tumbles around in the ocean.
Or the surf.
In the surf, right? And it needs a big, strong shell. Now, what you guys will notice, see the rings on the shell? Tells you how old the clam is, like the rings on a tree. Yeah, so you guys can pass these around and look at them. Okay? They do feel heavy, don't they?
These are not heavy.
All right, now that is only, as you guys know, that is only half of the whole animal. They have 2 shells, and animals that have 2 shells are called bivalves. Can everybody say bivalve?
Bivalve.
Now how I remember the difference between a bivalve and a univalve? Yes.
It has a front shell and a bottom shell.
That's right. And a univalve has only 1 shell. But how I remember them in my head, I always remember a unicycle has how many wheels? A bicycle has how many wheels? 2. That's how you always remember a bivalve. And that will be a test, and I will ask you on the beach.
Have they ever kept a bison in there?
I doubt it. I don't think there were any bison in New Jersey. All right, so now we know. I'm going to talk about bivalves very quickly.
Listen, please.
Here is one of my favorite bivalves to find. It happens to be broken, but this is my favorite little piece of purple here. And what do we call that, Will?
Wampum.
Can everybody say that?
Wampum.
Did you guys learn about the Lenape Indians yet?
No. Yes.
Well, when you do, you will know that the Lenape Indians and some other tribes that were local to this area they made jewelry out of beads out of this purple part. And it was so hard to make and so hard to find this dark purple, they used it as their money. And even the colonists, before this became, and there was just people coming from Europe and settling here, the colonists and the Native Americans that were here already used the purple beads as money. So when you find a shell like this, you're finding Indian money. So keep your eye out. Okay, you can pass that around.
I'm going to keep it.
All right, and then I'm going to bring out...
Isn't it smooth?
Isn't it smooth in there?
What's that? The purple part.
These are another type of bivalve.
Are those both that have?
They're both there. I'm going to tell you that in a minute. These are both the same type of animal. Pearls are usually found in these. What has a pearl?
A clam.
It's related to a clam. It is a bivalve. It begins with an O. Oysters. That's right. Now what's interesting, look at all the holes in this oyster. There was a predator eating this oyster. All right? But I'm going to give you a big hint. What kind of predator was on this shell? Give you one hint, and it's a good one. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob.
That's right, a sponge.
No.
Now, this is what SpongeBob would really look like. If he wasn't drawn by a little artist, colorful. This is a sea sponge.
Oh, look at SpongeBob.
It's really hard because it's dry. Go ahead and pass that around. I have another piece. It was alive. Yes. Mr. Will is right. They're a little more yellow when they're alive. Oh, it looks like a little wild apple. Leave it there because a squirrel will come eat it. Now you see that sponge? You know what's interesting about sponges? They don't eat the organism inside. They actually consume what the shell is made out of. Now all these little organisms inside these shells, they make their own shell out of a material called, yes. That's a little rock that the sponge had to grow on. A sponge has to attach itself to something or else it'll just float away. So that's what they do. When you find a nice piece of sponge,
like a mussel.
It did.
It didn't move at all. It just stays there. It takes a long time. And this is what happened. It settled onto the oyster shell, and oysters don't move. They're just stuck there, and it just gradually weakened that shell until you could poke a hole in it. You know? So when you're shell collecting, and if you find any shells with holes in it like this, you can keep it, of course, but Mr. Sponge has been eating it. Another neat thing. Now you guys, listen up, and I want to talk to you guys about keeping your scientific eyes peeled. Thank you. This is what?
That is a good piece.
It is a nice piece. This is my prized piece of this particular thing. This is the only type of this organism that is native to New Jersey. Grows on coral. Never mind, I just gave it away. It's coral. Okay, now when I pass it around, look inside the tiny holes, and you'll see. I have another one to show you. Pass around, and you can tell me why it might be called star coral.
Oh, because it looks like a star.
Yeah.
Inside,
you'll notice that
the thing inside looks like a star.
Yeah. But you'll notice that the coral grows on rocks too. Yep. But look underneath, and you'll see the coral also had to.
What kind of predator eats this?
The coral?
Yeah, because there's a hole.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
There's a parrotfish, but those are more in the tropics.
Thank you, Will. It's a good thing I have you with me. You want to touch the sponge?
No, I know what eats. Can I touch it?
What eats sponges?
Turtle.
Yes, you're right.
Oh, that's like a snail shell.
Yes, very good. All right, before we... You're absolutely right. Now, these are not bivalves. They are what? Univalves. They're univalves because they only have how many shells? One in each creature. Now this, you can find shells like this in New Jersey. It's called a whelk.
Excuse me.
You can hear the ocean. The thing about a whelk, the knobbed whelk, is the New Jersey state shell. I didn't know we had a New Jersey state shell. Whelks are also predators, and so are these little guys. Will, you want to talk about this?
This is a moon snail, and they are a predator. Even though they're snails, they may be slow, but being able to move slow is better than not being able to move at all. And these eat pretty much anything, any bivalve, I'm pretty sure.
How can you tell that a moon snail was eating something?
Well, they drill into it with their terrifying mouth thing.
Show them that on the back of that.
Like here, as you can see, it has that small hole. That's from one of these. They usually don't get this big. It's a pretty big one. To drill into it, and they'll suck anything that was inside into its stomach.
Like brain eaters.
Vampires.
Yeah. These are,
And I'm pretty sure they'll eat each other too. So you'll find
will.
these with like holes on top of them.
Yep, they'll eat each other. You'll find a lot of these or pieces of these. Now when we're on our, these little, I don't know if this was, something was trying to predate on this. I don't know if it was a sponge.
So do moon snails eat horseshoe crabs? I think the horseshoe crabs are too fast, right?
Yeah, I don't think they can eat the crabs, the horseshoe crabs. I think the only predator horseshoe crabs have really are like sea turtles.
Wait, I didn't hear you. Can I see?
Maybe some skates. That's usually their eggs.
It does sound like it.
Doesn't it? Yeah, up here we call, they're related to them. Oh, they are. But up here in the north, we call them like whelks.
Hey, I wanna look at this.
Down there, they're the conches, and they're big and exotic looking.
You hear it? What is that?
Yeah, those moon snails, they're usually only about this big.
I want to see.
This is not a shell, but this is an interesting, if you find a little piece of rock like this is called a thirsty stone. And what's neat about a thirsty stone is if you pour water in it, it'll absorb. It doesn't just pour off, it'll soak it in. It'll soak in the water. So when we are walking on the beach later, I think we might get a chance to walk on the beach and shell collect. If we do it.
Are you going to bring your shell collection?
Yeah, I'll bring it over to the beach. Well, does anybody have a bottled water right now? Does anybody have any bottled water on them? No, on them right now. No?
We'll find it. We'll see it later.
Yeah, we'll see it later. Don't worry. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put it right in my backpack. So we'll try to. You guys can feel it.
Oh, can I see it? It looks like a rock. Can I see it? It looks like and feels like a rock. Are we almost done? Get it.
Be nice.
No one wants to see it.
It just goes right in. Yes.
It looks and feels like a rock.
It does.
Those of you who don't know how to share, you will not be seeing them anymore.
It looks like Squidward.
Now,
It does.
what do you think that is? Can you take a wild guess? A wild guess. It does look like a spine. That's a good guess. But it's a really strange thing. The nickname for it is a mermaid necklace. But it's actually the egg casing to one of the shells that is being passed around right now.
Spine is good. Good guess.
That was a very good guess. Actually, no. It is the what? No, they're not. They're not. As far as we know, they're not. Anyways, what this young lady has in her hand has the. Oh, go ahead and look. Those.
I didn't get that little shell. It looked like teeth.
What those? Oh, I have another little whelk if you guys want to see it.
I do not hear the ocean. Wait, I didn't see the whale. There's an ant.
Oh, it's still being passed around. Who hasn't felt this yet?
I didn't see that. Can I feel it? You already saw it. That looks like too spiky. No, again, I didn't touch the weapon.
Here, I pass. Guess what that is?
A sponge.
That was once alive.
Which one is alive?
That's a carapace to a spider crab.
Spider crab. I didn't touch the eyes. Spiky. I didn't. Are those the eyes? Me. A spider crab. Look at it in the front.
You're right. You're right. It has 8 legs.
And it lives deep. It looks creepy.
Absolutely right.
Oh, can I take a picture?
Spiders are arachnids. Related to crabs. Crabs and spiders are related.
Look in the front.
All right.
No, right here. Is this the wrong side? Number 3.
The wampa?
Excuse me, what is this? Is this the head? I'm about to go answer that.
That's like, yeah, the head or tail.
What is that?
This is a little blue mussel.
I knew it was a mussel. Are we almost done? I didn't feel it yet.
Here, feel it. Here's some more wampum.
I didn't touch it.
Is that our bus telling us to hurry up?
Wait, here's a mussel.
Are they in there?
That's what. Okay.
Yeah, we might be finishing up. If it's time to... Oh, that's right. One more thing I'm going to show you.
It
Does sound like a mirage.
This? Here.
That's a little bit more wampum. Thank you, you guys. Now I'm going to show you, somebody reminded me about the whale ear, which is the prize thing. All right? Now let me tell you, yes.
I didn't get a chance to look at that.
This? Go right ahead. All right, now, this is what my husband found.
Listen, guys.
Nobody can touch this unless they're sitting down because it's fragile, okay? And I mean it. No fighting over this because my husband is doing me a big solid letting me take this, okay? Because this is the best thing my family ever found, all right? It's fossilized. It's very heavy, and I'll tell you how it works. You know how humpback whales can hear each other like 1,000 miles away? Because of this special hearing apparatus. Okay? And how they listen.
Can you listen?
I'm going to test on this later. Now, when a whale, you know how they have that big jaw? The baleen whales that eat the krill, like from in Finding Nemo? That's the kind of whale this came from. And what happens is the sound waves hit that jawbone in that whale and it travels down, and at the base of each jawbone is one of these. Now inside it looks very much like our eardrum, but it's hard. And this came from a 50-foot humpback whale. Okay, we only found the one. Mr. Kevin tells the story that he was riding that whale, he said, and the ear bone fell out. And he said, I tried to tell the whale, but the whale couldn't hear me. And that's why I got the bone and not him, because Mr. Kevin is very jealous that I have a whale bone. Anyways, if you want to hold it, see how heavy it is? Very dense. That's why they're very well preserved.
Relax, Rachel, please.
Yeah.
Wait your turn, Rachel.
Yeah, it'll come around. It's heavy, right?
Be careful with it, please.
It's worth over $400,000.
Yeah, I can feel something.
No.
But it's interesting, and they say if we cut it open, it would be very well preserved inside because it's so protected the way it is. You know, a lot of fossils get ruined because erosion and that type of thing. You can, they can't come back this way. You can go sit over there. I'd rather you guys be sitting on the grass in case you accidentally drop it. It's heavy, right? But that just goes to show you, if you keep your eye out and use your scientific eye, you can find really cool things. And I always tell everybody, even if you don't know what it is and it just looks interesting, take it. Go Google it. Find out what it is. We knew, my husband, when he found that bone, he knew it was something interesting, but he didn't know what. And then he handed it to me, and I was like, God, I know this is something important. So we researched it. And that's how we found out what it was, and we were like, awesome.
Just see it and pass it around.
Do you describe it?
We don't have time to.
We did. We thought it was probably from a marine mammal. Like my daughter's like really smart that way. So we started with like whale parts or whale bones, and we just looked and looked until there we saw it. That's exactly what it is. But all of my specimens here I have found here at Sandy Hook, and I come a lot. Some days I don't find anything super great, but every day I find something interesting. Every day. And even if other people don't think it's cool, I don't care. I collect things because I like them and I want to learn about them. Most people are interested, but my rule is if you like it, you think it's cool, and you think it's neat enough to keep, then keep it. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Yes.
The shell, when you put it in your ear and someone's talking, makes them sound a little bit
amplified.
It makes the voice a little bit higher.
Does it? That's interesting to note. Are you noticing anything in that?
Oh, you saw.
Was it hot? Yes.
I like that everyone holds it.
What? This looks like glass.
Did you see it?
That is a little bit of dishware, probably from the 40s, from the 1940s. Yes, be careful though, and don't cut yourself. This is a bad day for flies. It is usually not like this. It is, for some reason, it's a still weather when there's no winds. That's why there's lots of flies today.
But because there's so many of us, the chances of us getting swarmed by flies, or one person in particular, is a lot lower. So don't worry about it.
There you go, my lady.
All right.
You didn't see it?
No.
You gotta be careful with it, both hands.
Yep.
Place like this still? Or different?
I don't know if you can find plates like that. Over in the history house you can, but in the old
My
days...
grandma has some.
Does she have some like that?
1793.
Wow. Beautiful. I bet you that is beautiful and rare.
It kind of sounds like when you're talking, it kind of sounds like a TV.
Does it? Go ahead. Go ahead. You can put it in here.
Because of the wind going through the...
Sound waves.
God, what?
Sound waves. I made a rap of sound waves.
That's really... That's a neat thing, though, isn't it? No, it drives me nuts. I know the other ear bone is rolling around there somewhere in the water.
Somewhere.
I made a rap of sound waves in second grade.
Imagine if somebody speak through that and the whale heard it.
That'd be funny.
That sounds like a TV.
Isn't that neat? I never thought that the sound would be affected, like the ambient sound around you. I'm going to include that in my talks in the future. Thank you, you guys. You've been very helpful and smart. Yes.
Why didn't you write a journal?
You know, that's an idea. I just started organizing my specimens in my study. I'm making my study look like if Charles Darwin had a study, what would it look like? You guys know who Charles Darwin is? No. He came up with the theory of evolution to explain how species change and evolve over time. And he was a great explorer and went around the world collecting samples, and And so I like to think like, all right, so I have like specimen jars. I have like one jar that has nothing but like scallop shells in it. Then I have another jar that has nothing but like sea coral in it. And like this, I have a little jar with this in it, right?
Oh.
This I think might be a freshwater oyster shell, but it was really dense.
I didn't see it.